So you've all seen my video, you saw what I picked up, but let's talk through some of the fails. So I'm not perfect, I'm always still learning. Got 3 items here that weren't all what they first seemed. So let's go through each one and let's learn something together. So welcome back to the channel, Tatsters. My name's George Ross, this is Retro Reselling, and I buy and sell full time, buy cheap, sell online for a profit. That's my business. And the majority of my stuff, from spring to late mid-autumn, is boot sales. Go to a field or to a park and ride, car park. People bring their stuff, house clearance, other dealers, private homes that just clearing out. I scan through the second-hand stuff. I'll try and find a bargain and sell it online for a profit, obviously. With that comes risks. Lots and lots of things to take into consideration with any niche really. Clothing, shoes, obviously you could get fakes. Holes, tears, shrinkage, like jumpers could shrink in the wash. Electronics could be faulty, not working, software issues or not being updated. Gaming, media, could be scratches, or could also be bootleg or fake. Yeah, whatever niche you're in, there's always going to be potential problems, especially when looking at secondhand stuff. It was obviously my first one of the year, my first boot sale of 2022. Of 2022, I can say it. Of 2022, could you tell I was in a rush? So I was super excited just to be out in the fresh air at a boot sale, looking at secondhand stuff, looking at people's junk that they don't want anymore. I was just super excited to be out and I just couldn't get around quick enough. Obviously, each of these 3 items you did see me pick up, you saw what I paid, but we'll go through each one again. We'll start with this telephone, the one that was the lowest price and partially working. As you saw, he was asking £5, I bought it for £3. So nice and cheap, and I think I originally said 20 to 30 on price range if it's all working, because it has been converted to the modern telephone line. That was a bonus and nice and cheap. Got it home, it works, obviously plugged it into my telephone line, dialed it, rings fine, dial tone, I can hear myself, I can talk, I can hear, everything. One problem though, even though there's a dial tone, when it comes to dialing a number, I managed to get this working fine. That goes back fine, bit of WD-40 on that. It doesn't actually dial out any phone numbers. So you can use it as a receiver and to answer calls, but you can't actually do outgoing calls, which obviously affects the price. So the key here is I got it cheap, only £3. Normally people are charging like £10, £15. If I do pick them up, it's usually different colors like greens, blues, reds. For a plain sort of beigey cream one, they are the lower end, like not a colour that you necessarily want or the buyers want. So see, taking it into consideration, I just made sure I bought it cheap. So £5 was quite cheap anyway for a retro rotary phone anyway. But I knew there was going to be a risk involved, offered him free. So even if I get sort of 12 to 15 as it is, I've still minimised my sort of fail rate, like it isn't fully working. So got to sell it as parts or part working. 12 to 15, but it's only cost me £3 and I charged postage on top. So yeah, I avoided that one. Come to this one. This is really cool. Again, nice and cheap for what it is. This is a Tomy Turbo, I believe from the 80s. It's literally just like a car simulator game. It looks cooler than it actually is. When I picked it up at the time, you obviously saw me testing it. There's a car here that can move side to side. There's the speed as well. It all shines up on the dashboard. The downsides were it's been written on, there's like Tipex on the headlights. So not the best of conditions, but everything seemed to be working. So again, took a chance, he was asking 10, looked up sold and completed at the time, and fully working, they're going into 3 figures, sort of 80 to 120. If it's in really, really good condition, even more. So taking everything into consideration, it's not in the best of conditions, it's been battered and beaten. So I was thinking again, parts faulty potentially, maybe part working like the telephone. So I offered him 5. We met at 7, and yeah, that was a good price. Again, thinking about, I'm buying it, saying it is broken basically. If you go in buying it as broken and you can still make a profit on that, then your money's safe. Obviously got it home and had to order these big D batteries, or these were from Wilko's. Had to get 4 of them. I needed some for testing anyway, so that was fine. Whacked them in, and again we've got another part working item. Turn it on with the ignition, and I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah. You can hear that noise, like a buzzing type noise. That's basically the motor going round, but the cogs inside are basically knackered, or one of the cogs are knackered, and the screen here isn't actually turning round. So everything lights up, like the screen lights up here, but the screen should be rotating like different parts of the road, like avoiding traffic and that. So it works partly again. I did open it up, I had to look inside, I looked it up on YouTube, and it looks really confusing. There's about 15 cogs inside with the motor, so if one of them goes wrong, the whole thing goes wrong. So again, minimising my risk to reward. Only paying £7 for this, and I should still be hopefully getting, as in this condition, £35 from 7 for a cool retro item. Yeah, again, making profit, minimising. Basically, my advice for electronics, especially vintage electronics, buy like they are broken or part working. Then you can't go wrong. They're still going to be used for collectors. Like, this is going to look cool, all tidied up in that in someone's room or in collection. So they're not potentially going to like buy it to play the game, because it doesn't look that great from what I saw anyway. So just for the looks, and again with the telephone purely full of looks, so not fully working, but theatres buy them, TV productions buy them. I've sold a couple to Warner Brothers before, so that's cool. But obviously from fully working to a prop, obviously there's a bit of a price difference, but still profit to be made. And then we'll come on to the biggest fail. We'll move these out of the way. Fail is big enough to warrant its own stage. So what we have here, or what I thought we had here, was Hermes of Paris sort of driving shoes, loafers. And to be fair, they feel soft. The leather, it might be fake leather, does feel soft. Nice condition. I spent £70. 70. This is when I got caught like a rabbit in the headlights. Bush. I was far too excited, I was far too trusting. I've bought from this guy before, he's a regular seller at boot sales. I've bought from him before with no problems. And the reason I fell for it so much, because he was so confident that, oh, they're the genuine thing. Before I even picked them up, he said, oh, they're the real deal, they're the genuine thing. Talk about helping his friend clear out how rich his friend is. He's got all this designer gear. There's some Gucci's as well. I don't touch Gucci's at boot sales. And I probably won't be touching Hermes again at boot sales, because these are fake as you like. I should get them back, because I need to explain why. So yeah, got home, shared them on Instagram and Facebook, all excited. Oh, look what I picked up. And within 10 minutes, oh, they're fake. Like, you just get that sinking feeling in your stomach. And then I'll go to look at them again, and I can't believe I actually bought them. What was I doing? Far too trusting, far too excited. £70. £70. Can't believe it. Just sitting in absolute disbelief. Let's turn this into a positive. I won't be buying Hermes again. One of the biggest giveaways, and I should have known it at the time, it was in my head. The bottoms for a high-end designer, like if these were genuine, these are like £600+ to buy from retail. And yeah, just a cheap looking stamp of the size on the bottom of the heel. That does not say class or high-end to me. This is all with looking at it again, like how did I fall for this? The insole just comes out, it looks horribly cheap. And again, on the inside here, there's this threads all on the inside. It does not look comfortable. The other thing to note is on the insole, the Hermes logo is just sort of rubber stamped, like it's an ink stamp, and it's coming away or starting to fade away. I believe all real ones should be sort of embossed into the actual leather. It's like high-end embossed, it's not going anywhere. There's also no serial numbers, no model numbers, not even under the tongue. Sometimes there's like model and codes and stuff, there's nothing. Also the stitching as well. It's just not what you would call high-end quality. It's inconsistent. It's even easier to see because it's white stitching against like bright orange leather. Well, he kept telling me they were genuine, they're the real deal. His friends got more money than you can ever earn or whatever. And there we go, 70 quid down the drain. But on this channel, I'm honest, we're transparent and honest. I show you where I mess up so you don't have to. So take that as a nice lesson, a nice quick video here. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm always learning on the go, especially with designer brands. Clothes is obviously what I'm learning about. golf clubs, they will sell for profit, I tell you. Yeah, this channel is to document my journey, how I'm learning different niches, how I'm always adapting, because if you don't adapt, you'll get left behind and you'll suddenly fall off at the end and you won't be doing this anymore. So it's all about continuous learning, continuous adapting, selling on different platforms, picking up different items you're not normally comfortable with, and then sometimes this can happen, but then on the other flip side, it can pay off. It's not all good news, it's not all bad news. You just gotta decrease the bad news as much as possible. And again, like with the electronics, you wanna buy them like they're broken. So even if you're selling them for parts or repairs, you're still gonna make money. And if it's fully working, then yeah, it's all gravy. So I hope this was a bit of an education for you. Hope you learned something here. Hope you can avoid some of these mistakes. Don't trust people too much. Do some research, take your time, especially when it's something expensive like that at a boot sale, 70 quid for a pair of shoes. I'm not gonna be doing that again. Thanks for watching. I'll have to chuck these in the bin. See ya.